Coming up on the Q30 Newscast. A threat on campus canceled classes in one building. And Q30's Julia Barcello sits down with President Judy Olian to speak about her departure from the university.
The Grove Dorm Hall has seen some facilities issues within its first week of housing students, and the Quinnipiac community comments on the changes the dining hall has seen over the summer.
Also, a Hamden election gets overturned when missing ballots are discovered in a garage.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Good evening and welcome to the first Q30 Newscast of the year. From local to national news, we have it here all for you tonight. My name is Ashley Potvin.
And my name is Ben Rickovicius. It's great to be back in the studio for another year of the Q30 Newscast.
Definitely. Breaking news occurred on the Mount Carmel campus this afternoon, evacuating students from the Carl Hansen Student Center.
Q30's Julia Barcello has more on the story.
Earlier this afternoon, at around 2:20 p.m., Quinnipiac University notified the Quinnipiac community regarding a bomb threat in the Carl Hansen Student Center. The suspect has been apprehended.
Report around 2 o'clock this afternoon of a pipe bomb in the student center. It was brought to our attention by a student who noticed it on Yik Yak and brought it to public safety's attention, walked in the dispatcher and told the dispatcher what they saw. So that immediately sprang our team into action. We wanted to make sure that the building was evacuated and that nobody had access to it. The regional bomb squad came, they swept the building, fortunately found no bomb.
Students were told to evacuate the buildings and stand around 15 yards away from the student center. The North Haven bomb squad entered the buildings at around 3:30 p.m. to investigate the threat. Hamden Police Department and Quinnipiac Public Safety made sure to keep the area clear and students and faculty safe. All classes in Tater Hall, located in the student center, were moved to online out of precaution. Earlier this evening, Quinnipiac University President Judy Olian sent out a university-wide email saying, quote, "The vigilance of our community played a key role today. One of our students saw a threatening post on social media and reported that threat to public safety. For that, we are all grateful," end quote. Students were confused on the situation and expressed their point of views.
I was in my landscape drawing class, and I don't know, we were just told that we have to evacuate the building, so we all thought it was just a fire drill. So I mean, when it first happened, everyone was just really confused, and I guess as we found out that it's like a bomb threat, it definitely became more serious. But yeah, just a little stressed a little bit, but I mean, I think I have faith in the PD here.
The Hamden Police Department is doing further investigation to figure out the full story. For updates, stay tuned with Q30 News. Reporting in front of the Carl Hansen Student Center for Q30 News, I'm Julie Barcello.
Earlier this afternoon, Quinnipiac's Office of Residential Life sent out an email to students about up-and-coming health and safety inspections. They announced that room checks will begin starting September 9th and end September 20th. The primary goal of these inspections is to, quote, "meticulously assess each space," end quote. At the end of the email, Residential Life explained that they will not enter personal belongings as part of the inspections.
Quinnipiac's newest residential hall, The Grove, opened this semester for incoming students, but it's seeing some construction flaws. Sydney Weimer has more on the latest development.
Ever since its construction began nearly 2 years ago with the development of a new South Quad, the Grove Residence Hall has been a popular topic of conversation among Quinnipiac students. Residents of the Grove include students from all grade levels who applied to participate in a year-long mentorship program aimed at addressing real-world issues within the community. The Grove, having opened this academic year, advertises its modern appearance, environmentally friendly features, and air-conditioned spaces for students to enjoy. However, the Grove has been experiencing issues since its grand opening. Current residents of the building have expressed frustration with various shortcomings of the hall's development and maintenance.
A lot of the TVs don't have any remotes. They're not on. There's really nothing to really do with them. A lot of the walls, the paint's chipped. The AC only goes down to 72 and only goes up to 76. 2 of the dryers are broken, which also doesn't work. The washers are on a 30-minute cycle and the dryers are an hour. So you'll finish with your washer and then you're just stuck waiting for a dryer for the whole time.
More prominent issues within the hall have included flooding due to poor construction of bathrooms in the building.
A lot of the bathrooms are really flooded. The water will come off the lips in the bathroom and it'll just flood the whole thing. And you'll try to walk in, it's just stepping in puddles.
While students have been faced with nothing but ongoing issues while living in the new development, officials at the university have yet to comment how they will handle such concerns. Reporting from the new Grove Residence Hall on Quinnipiac's main campus, Sydney Weimer, Q30 News.
There is a new update for the final schedule for the end of the fall semester. Instead of having all Monday set as a study day as it has been in past years, Monday will have finals in the afternoon. The final schedule will begin at 3:30 p.m. on Monday. Students can visit MyQ and the university's academic calendar for more information.
A new Italian course was introduced for the fall semester in IT 203 Italian and Film. In this course, students are able to analyze choices of film and screenplays to explore all aspects of Italian life and culture. A review of grammar and conversational practice are embedded in this course. Students will have the ability to acquire 4 language skills, including speaking, listening, reading, and writing. After completing this course, students should be able to draw comparisons between cultures and deepen their understanding of Italian language and society.
Ashley, it's almost time for our first commercial break of the night.
But before we go, we'll take a quick look at the weather for the next 3 days. Brady, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Ben and Ashley. Let's take a look at the 3-day forecast. Today, 77 high and a 54 low. Beautiful day today and putting on the jacket tonight. Tomorrow, looking at about the same thing, 77 high, but a low of 57, so a little warmer at night, but still would recommend that hoodie. And last but not least, Friday, going to be 78, but a low of 59. Going to be a little cloudy, but should be a beautiful day nonetheless. We'll show you the 7-day forecast after this commercial.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Quinnipiac University is hosting a traveling exhibition called Physicians, Assistants, Collaboration, and Care. The exhibit consists of 6 roll-up graphic banners that outline the history of the physician assistant profession. The banners are a loan from the National Library of Medicine, and viewing is free and available to the public. They have been displayed in the Arnold Bernard Library from August 29th to September 6th. The banners will also be in the Edward and Barbara Netter Library on the North Haven campus. The viewing hours for the exhibit are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Quinnipiac University President Judy Olian announced in an emotional email to the Quinnipiac community that the 2024-25 school year would be her last as the president of the university.
Q30's Julia Barcello sat down with President Olian as she answered questions from student media.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. Today alongside me I have Quinnipiac University President Judy Olian. Hello Judy. So we'll start off today. Last week, or on Friday, you made your announcement you will be stepping down from your position at the end of the academic year. So when did you make this decision?
Well, thank you, Julia, and I appreciate the Chronicle and Q30 coming and speaking to me at least once a year. I really enjoy that, and I appreciate the voice you have with our students and others. You know, you don't make a decision like this from a job that is really a vocation and your life. Easily, you think about it, it has such implications for what you're going to do, what your plans are, how you leave the institution, how you leave your team, what impact you've had. So I've been thinking about it for a while, thinking about when the timing would be good. And you know, it's never perfect timing. You want to go out when things are going great, which they are. Sometimes if things are not going well, you want to stay to fix them. That is not the case. And so you leave, but you know there's so much more to do. You have plans for the future. I don't think we're going to be slowing down at all this year. I certainly won't be. We're going to be making plans as if we're continuing forever. And then when the new president comes sometime in the summer, they will have the prerogative to revisit things, because change is always great to have a fresh new set of eyes. The wonderful thing for Quinnipiac as a university is the quality of the leadership across the institution. The management team, the deans, all of the leaders in all of the other functions and units, the department heads, the student leaders, all of that continues, and I think it's really a terrific set of leaders and people, faculty and staff, and students who are passionately committed to the institution. I'm really excited about the future, and I know that the institution will do really, really well. And I'm proud of what we've accomplished.
So this being your final year as university president, what kind of are your final goals?
You talk about final, it feels much more final than in your question than I feel about it. I'm really not thinking about this as the final year. You know how in a marathon you have many, many laps, and then as you get towards the final laps, you actually accelerate your speed if you can still, if you have it in you, and I hope I have it in me, I feel I have it in me. And we are continuing to develop the distinctions that Quinnipiac stands for.
So going back to last year momentarily, the university saw multiple instances of anti-Semitism across campus. This year, how will the university administration work to prevent that?
Those were very sad incidences and troubling. And any incident of hate speech and any kind of hate crime is tragic and inconsistent with our values as an institution, where we accept and laud free speech, but we do not accept violations of our code of conduct, which include insightful speech or any form of speech that evokes hateful symbols.
Well, that is all I have for you today, President Olian. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Julia, and I love our conversations, and I hope to have several more over the course of this year.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a busy summer for politics. I think it's time for a quick update as we get closer to November.
Q30's Andrew Reynolds has what you need to know this week in politics.
Thanks, Ben and Ashley. Let's start with news out of New York. Yesterday, New York Governor Kathy Hochul's former aide was arrested and is facing charges of acting as an agent for the Chinese government. Linda's son and her husband, Christopher Hu, both pled not guilty on Tuesday in Brooklyn federal court on charges of failure to register as a foreign agent, visa fraud, alien smuggling, and money laundering conspiracy. Son worked under the Hochul and Cuomo administrations during her time in New York politics. Son allegedly acted as an unregistered agent of China, while her husband laundered money to buy properties in Manhasset and Hawaii. She is also accused of blocking Taiwan representatives from accessing the governor and influencing their public statements on China. Son and her husband were released on bonds of $1.5 million and $500,000 respectively. The couple's next court date appearance will take place on September 25th. Staying on the East Coast, the upcoming presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump is set to take place next Tuesday on September 10th. This will mark the first debate between these two candidates following Biden's dropping out of the race. According to a recent USA Today poll, Harris currently leads Trump by a narrow margin of 48% to 43%, ever since Joe Biden said he would step aside from the race on July 21st. Ever since then, momentum has shifted towards Harris, allowing her to take the lead. The debate will be moderated by David Muir and Lindsay Davis of ABC News and will be broadcasted on ABC, Disney Plus, and Hulu. Both campaigns have agreed to a total of 3 debates, including 2 presidential and 1 vice presidential. The outcome of these debates could significantly influence the undecided voters, who make up about 10% of the electorate. The stakes are high, and both candidates are preparing to make their case to the American people. Lastly, staying in Philadelphia, the Eagles have denounced posters that claim the NFL team had endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Fake advertisements appeared around Philadelphia on Monday, falsely claiming the vice president was the, quote, official candidate of the team. The Eagles have since put out a statement denying the endorsements, clarifying they do not affiliate with any political candidates. The team emphasized their focus is on the community initiatives and support for nonpartisan civic engagement. The ads were also not paid for and were forcibly placed into the boxes, according to Intersection Media, the owner of the bus stop advertising company. That's all for news I have this week in U.S. politics. Ben, Ashley, back to you guys.
Now it's time for another short commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have the full weather forecast for the week and for around the state.
Plus, we'll take a look at the new Quinnipiac poll about the candidates running in the 2024 election. The Q30 Newscast. We'll be right back.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life.
And I am so proud to call you my son.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. It's so great being back on campus. Ashley, the weather has been outstanding. We even were able to do a little grilling this weekend, but will this nice weather stay a little longer?
I'm really hoping so. Brady Mullen has the full weather forecast for the upcoming week.
Thanks again, Ben and Ashley. Now, taking a look at the 7-day forecast. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we talked about it. Going to be beautiful all throughout those next 3 days. Friday, going to be a little bit cloudy, but still 73 for the high and 59 for the low. Saturday is going to be a little iffy with an overcast, but still, nonetheless, going to be warm. Going to be a high of 76 and a low of 57. And then going into Sunday, the sun's going to be coming back out with a high of 73 and a low of 52. Then looking at Monday and Tuesday. Monday, high of 74 and a low of 54. And then Tuesday, a high of 78 and a low of 56. Beautiful days with the sun out. And if you're traveling around the state of Connecticut, at our state's capital, Hartford, 80 degrees, Torrington, 77, Norwich, 77 as well. Going to be warmer inland, but let's look at the coast here. 77 in Stamford, 78 in New Haven, and 74 in New London. Can't complain across the state. Going to be Sunday, sunny everywhere. Right back to you, Ben and Ashley.
Quinnipiac's dining hall on the Mount Carmel campus has made some big changes over the summer, including 3 new food stations.
Q30's Connor Core has a scoop.
For many Quinnipiac students, they return to campus looking forward to reconnecting with friends in another year of school. A few new names that they didn't expect to learn about were not people, but places. Those names were Heritage, Butcher Shop, inside the Bobcat Den.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked because me and my teammates ate there every day, so I was kind of shocked to be like, oh shoot, what am I gonna eat now?
Yik Yak, a popular social media app that allows students to post anonymously with certain radius for others to see, saw one post that was trending for quite a few days. Reading, the fact they removed daily press at the Rat, Albon Payne, and the mobile order app doesn't work is criminal. Whoever made these changes needs to be questioned. As of today, the mobile order is up and running again, and you can order from stations on the Mount Carmel and York Hill campuses.
No, we didn't take the decision lightly at all. It was definitely something we were like, oh boy, people really love ABP, so it's not something like, oh yeah, one meeting. It was weeks and weeks and weeks of talking and deciding and asking around and thinking about what was best. So as much as we understand people love ABP, I think this is going to be a much better option, especially since we have Starbucks already. It's kind of a very similar brand.
Students have always had questions about food on college campuses, but the topic about the 2 new options at Quinnipiac's dining facilities have been relatively positive. Reporting in the dining hall for Q30 News, I'm Connor Core.
With Election Day being just over 2 months away and the race being extremely close between the two candidates, a new Quinnipiac poll has been released. Vice President Kamala Harris received support from 49% to former President Donald Trump's 47% of support. Harris leads among women by 21 points, while Trump leads among men by 18 points. In other regards, 64% of voters do not think Robert Kennedy Jr.'s endorsement of Trump will affect their view of him. However, 69% of voters think America's best days are yet to come.
Ashley, it's time to take a look at some of the biggest stories happening around the country.
Q30's Brittany Braun-Lehman has more with national news.
Thanks, Ashley and Ben. Here's what I have for national. Today, a shooting occurred in Winder, Georgia at Appalachian High School, killing 2 students and 2 teachers. Another 9 victims were taken to the hospital. 14-year-old Colt Gray was taken into custody by authorities. Shots were fired around 10:30 a.m. The police were able to respond to the scene within minutes. Gray immediately surrendered to authorities. He is now in custody, and according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, he will be charged with murder as an adult. Several vehicles at the rear of a fleet transporting Tim Walz were involved in an accident on the freeway while traveling from the airport to a campaign event in Milwaukee on Monday. The Democratic vice presidential candidate was unharmed. Pictures and videos on social media revealed multiple large passenger vans and crumpled front and back ends after the collision, which took place on Interstate 794. The motorcade accident resulted in some reporters sustaining minor injuries such as scrapes and bruises, with one reporter having a bloody nose. Another reporter was suspected of having a concussion, but decided to join the rest of the press in a news van to attend the event. During the holiday weekend, housekeepers in 8 different cities went on strike, seeking higher wages from chain hotels for their daily room cleaning work. The strike was supported by around 10,000 hotel workers represented by the Unite Here Union. Honolulu, Boston, San Francisco, San Jose, San Diego, and Seattle workers are demanding higher wages and the reversal of service staff cuts. Union President Gwen Mills added that, quote, hospitality work overall is undervalued and is not a coincidence that it's disproportionately women and people of color doing the work, end quote. That's all I have for national. I'll send it back to the desk.
This brings us to our last commercial break of the night, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll have the recap of last week's Quinnipiac sports games.
And students have the opportunity to catch some free outdoor films. Grab your popcorn and don't change that channel. The Q30 Newscast will be right back.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. It's time for my favorite time of the night, sports. I can't wait to hear about the latest in all the fall returning sports.
Q30's Eli Ehlers is in studio to recap the past week.
Thanks, Ashley and Ben. Fall sports are back, so let's get right into it. To start things off, the men's soccer team had their first home game on Friday against Columbia. In the 27th minute, Alex Miller got the ball at the midfield and sent a through ball right on Drew Segura's foot, and he put it in the back of the net to give the Bobcats an early 1-0 lead. Philip Kangman followed with a goal of his own 3 minutes later. The final scoreline was 2-0, and Carl Netzel received his first clean sheet of the year with 4 saves. Bobcats got their first win of the year. Sticking with soccer, but switching to the women's side, they faced UAlbany in a Sunday matchup. The 2023 MAC Golden Boot winner, Courtney Chokehold, got the party started in the 27th minute, and from there, the Bobcats controlled the game. Morgan Cupo, after missing most of last year with an injury, got her first goal of the season after having 6 shots on net. Melania Branco iced it in the final 10 minutes, scoring a phenomenal goal to give the Bobcats the 3-0 win. Moving to the field hockey field, the team opened their season on Friday against the LIU Sharks and found themselves in a 2-0 hole that they were unable to dig themselves out of. Francesca Escoyez was the bright spot for the Bobcats as she was the lone goal scorer. The first year is looking to become a staple of Quinnipiac field hockey and showed why on Friday. On Sunday, the team traveled to Northeastern. Escoyez started things off followed by a Cameron Brower goal, but Northeastern fired back with 3 straight goals, and the Bobcats had no answer, ending the weekend without a win. Well, that's all I have for sports. Ashley and Ben, take it away.
If you're looking for a fun nighttime activity, Hamden's Movie Night Series is returning. The event is returning to Volano Park, where every Friday night in September, people can attend free outdoor movies. The 4 movies scheduled to be shown are If, Kung Fu Panda 4, Coco, and Hocus Pocus 2. Along with the movies, food trucks and vendors, including Cultured Taste and Raise Your Vibe, will be at the movies. Films start around 7 p.m. starting on September 6th.
Now, I'm not sure about you, but it's getting to be Halloween season, so I'm super excited to see Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah, honestly, I might go to 2 or 3 of those movies. It seems like a great time, go with a few friends and really just have a nice night out, get away from school for a little bit and have some fun.
Definitely.
In a recent primary election for the state representative in Hamden, results were flipped when an envelope of ballots was not found counted.
Q30's Ava Crossley had the opportunity to dive into the town situation.
15 votes. That's how many were needed to completely flip the results of the most recent primary election in Hamden, and they went uncounted. It started in August when Hamden held their primary elections for state representative. On the ballot were Jennifer Pope and Lori Sweet. Come election night, Jennifer Pope was down by 69 votes, according to reports from the New Haven Register from that night. Pope conceded the race to Sweet with this news. But when final count concluded, results showed that Pope had actually won by 2 votes. This small margin triggered an automatic recount. During recount, they discovered an envelope of votes that went uncounted. These votes flipped the poll results in Sweet's favor by 15 points. The unaccounted ballots came from residents who voted here at the Board of Education office, and they remained uncounted until the recount spurred poll workers to find them in a secured garage. In a statement released to her Facebook page, Pope said that she finds the recount, quote, revealed shortcomings and legal deficiencies in Hamden's election process that are totally unacceptable, end quote. Although she ultimately decided not to seek legal action because she believes Sweet ultimately won. In a statement to her Facebook page, Sweet commended Pope's commitment to a fair and transparent election, and also said she wanted to support the Registrar of Voters and the Town Clerk's office to improve the voting process. Q30 reached out to the Hamden Registrar of Voters, who declined to comment, and they said they had no knowledge of any missing votes. Reporting from the Hamden Board of Education office, I'm Evangeline Crossley, Q30 News.
Now, that's all we have for news this week. For more content and to stay up to date on Quinnipiac and local news, be sure to visit us at Q30TV.com and follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Television and Q30 News. I'm Ashley Potvin.
And I am Ben Rickovicius. Thank you for tuning in to the Q30 Newscast, and have a good night, Bobcat Nation.